Hey, how's it going, guys? In this tutorial, I'll be covering how to use Google Cloud Speech-to-Text API in Python. So the Speech-to-Text API is one of the Google Cloud service products. Using the Speech-to-Text API, we'll be able to transcribe media files such as MP3, MP4 WAV files, or transcribing when we are streaming a podcast. And since I'm trying to keep the tutorial short, I'll only be covering the things I think are the most important to get you started running. Let's go to the products page first. If you go to cloud.google.com/speech-to-text, and that's going to take you to the products page. And here you can find all the information related to the speech-to-text API. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is the pricing. So whenever we are using a Google Cloud service product, we need to know how much does the service cost. And if we go to the pricing page, here we have a pricing table. So the pricing structure is divided into two different models. Standard model, first the enhanced model. And within each model, we have two different tiers. One is if you let Google to record your usage, then Google is going to give you a discount. First, if you don't give Google access to record your usage, then Google is not going to give you a discount. So things like that. And I want to first of all talk about the difference between the standard model, first the enhanced model. So the difference between these two models are the enhanced model incorporates data from phone calls, video models, which have better voice recognition performance versus the standard model. That basically translates into if you want a better accurate result, they want to use the enhanced model versus the standard model. And if we look at the cost, the first 60 minutes are going to be free for both standard model and the enhanced model. And after the first 60 minutes usage, and the quota is going to get reset every month. And that means every month you can use up to 60 minutes of speech-to-text API for free. And after the first 60 minutes, then it's going to cost you 0.006 cents per 15 seconds without data logging upload. First, if you decide to let Google to record your usage, then it's going to be 0.004 cents per 15 seconds for the standard model. And for the enhanced model, it's going to be 0.006 cents per 15 seconds and 0.009 cents per 15 seconds without data logging. And that's everything I want to talk about in terms of the pricing structure. Now I want to talk about the quota and the usage limit. If you go to the quotas and limits page, if you are providing a local media file, then the speech-to-text API is going to limiting the media file to be less than 10 megabytes, and the media length cannot be greater than 1 minute. And if you want to upload a media file that is longer than 1 minute, and the file size is greater than 10 megabytes, then you need to upload the media file to Google Cloud Storage first, which I'll show you examples in this video. This is everything I want to go over on the products page. Now I want to go into Google Cloud Console. Before we can use any Google Cloud service, we need to enable the service first. But first, make sure that you sign up for a free Google Cloud account if you don't have one. And next, you want to make sure that you create a Google Cloud project. And for this video, I'm going to use my Google Cloud demo project. And once you choose the project that you want to use, you want to click on the navigation menu. Then click on APIs and Services. Then click on Library. The first API we need to enable is the speech-to-text API. And the API name is going to be Cloud Speech-to-Text API. And make sure that this API is enabled. And next we want to enable the Cloud Storage API. And let me go ahead and enable this API first. The next one is going to be here. Let's go back. The next one is going to be cloud storage. And from this list, we can enable both cloud storage and Google Cloud Storage JSON API. Once you enable all the required Google Cloud service, we can now create a Python program to interact with the speech-to-text API. Now open your Python editor. So here I'm going to use VS Code. To be able to interact with the speech-to-text API in Python, we need to install the Python SDK first. Alright, so to install the library, we want to use the command pip install -- upgrade Google - cloud - speech. In this tutorial, I'll show you 2 examples, which I think is going to cover majority of the use cases. Now let me go into my project folder first. Alright, so for the examples, I'll be using these 3 media files. Basically, this one is a 3 minutes long media file.
My second story is about love,
which is a speech Steve Jobs gave in 2005 at Stanford. And this media file is 3 minutes and 18 seconds long. And for the file size, it's going to be 6 megabytes. So this file I'm going to upload to the Google Cloud Storage first. Then I'm going to show you how we can upload this file to the speech-to-text API. And for the local files, I'm going to use these 2 files. One is MP3 file and one is WAV file. The reason I want to use these 2 files as examples because I want to show you the performance difference of an MP3 file versus a WAV file. And let me play the demo audio .wav file first. And basically this is a 6 seconds long audio.
Hi, my name is Jay. I teach Python and Excel on YouTube.
So basically the audio's content is my name is Jay and I teach Python and Excel on YouTube. So that's it. Now let's go into our code editor. In the demo.py script, I'm going to import the OS module and increase the font size. And to import the speech library from google.cloud, want to import the speech module. Oh, and one more thing. Make sure that you download the client service key as a JSON file. And here my client secret key is going to be named as client_service_key.json. I'm going to copy the file path to my Python script. So the way how Google Cloud Service is via the environment variable. And we can create a temporary environment variable using the OS module .environ. So this is a method that allows you to map an environment variable using the OS module. And the Google Cloud Service is going to look at the Google application credentials environment variable to locate the client service file. So here we're going to type the environment key Google_application_credentials is equals to the client service key path. Then I can create my speech client. And I'll name the client speech client is equals to speech.speech client object. Now let me run this code block first. And I'll create the speech client successfully. Now let me terminate the session. And if I come out line 4, now if I try to run this code block, and since I didn't provide a client service key, I'm going to get the default credential error, could not automatically determine credentials. And it's going to give you the explanation, please set Google application credentials, or explicitly create a credential and rerun the application. Now let me uncomment this line. And let me create a speech client instance. For the first example, I'm going to show you how to transcribe a local media file And as I mentioned before, file size has to be less than 10 megabytes. And file length has to be less than 1 minute. Now let me grab the media file path first. And it's going to be a WAV file. And I'll name both file media file name underscore, and this one is going to be mp3, and WAV file WAV. I want to go to the documentation first. So here let's take a look at the documentation. From cloud speech to text documentation, under reference, want to go into REST reference. Under the REST reference API, want to look at the recognition audio resource. When we upload a media file, we need to convert the media file as a recognition audio object first. And this resource takes two different types of contents. One is the Google Cloud Storage object URI, basically the object file path. Or we can create the object by providing the media's byte content. And this is used when you want to upload a local file. Right, so let's go back to our Python script. I'm going to grab the byte string of both media files first. So I'm going to type with open media file, and this one's going to be mp3 file. And I want to read as binary. And let's call this f1. And I'll name the byte data object as byte data underscore mp3 is equals to f1.read. Then I want to create the speech recognition audio object. So this is going to be recognition audio. And since I'm providing the byte string, so I need to reference the content parameter is equals to byte data mp3. And I'll name the output as audio underscore mp3. Oh, I forgot the equal sign. And I'll copy this code block. I'll just make a copy. And I'll rename the variable. This one's going to be f2. And it's going to be WAV. And it's going to be step number 1. Load the media files. Oh, transcribe media files. For step number 2, we need to configure the media file output. And it's going to be step 2. To configure a media file output, we need to use the recognition config resource. And below is the JSON representation of the inputs. We can specify things like the language code, whether or not if the speech is going to be in different language, the sample rate hertz. So this one I think is a required field. The media encoding, speech to text API model, and whether or not if you want to use the enhanced model. And a couple other properties which I'll let you to go to the list on your own, since here we have the description associated to each field. Now I want to create my recognition config objects. I want to configure the mp3 file first. I'll name the object as config underscore mp3 is equals to speech dot recognition config. And I know for the mp3 file, the sample rate hertz is going to be 48,000. And I also want to enable the punctuation, and the parameter name is going to be enable automatic underscore punctuation. I'll set that to true. And for the language code, it's going to be English. And that's everything I'm going to provide in terms of the configuration. Now I want to copy this code block, and I'll just copy and paste. And I want to change MP3 to WAV. And since I'm uploading a WAV file, we need to specify the audio channel count. And for the WAV file, it's going to be 2. And the simple rate hertz is going to be 44,100 for the WAV file. Now I want to create my config objects and my audio objects. So I'll run line 11 all the way to line 34. And here I have a typo. Oh, this should be enable automatic punctuation. Let me try again. Okay. I'm able to create both objects successfully. Step number 3 is going to be transcribing the recognition audio objects. And this should be low media files, not transcribing media files. Because I'm transcribing a local media file, the file size is smaller than 10 megabytes and the media length is less than 1 minute long. So we can use the recognition method. Here, if I go into speech, we have 2 different methods, recognize method and long running recognize. The recognize method is going to be used when we want to transcribe a local media file, or if you want to transcribe a media file which is less than 10 megabytes or less than 1 minute long. Otherwise, you'll be using the long running recognize method. The long running recognize method requires one extra step, and which I'll show you in a second. Now let me show you how to use the recognize method first. And to transcribe the recognition audio object, from the speech client object, recognize. Want to provide the config object to the config parameter. And let's transcribe the MP3 file first. And it's going to be config underscore MP3. Then want to provide the recognition audio object to the audio parameter. And I'll name the output as response underscore standard underscore MP3. And I'll make a copy of this code block. And I'll rename MP3 to WAV. Now let me go ahead and execute these 2 code blocks. And here's saying that audio wave is not defined. Oh, this should be F2. And let me create the config wave object. Right, so here let me print the response standard MP3. Now let me go ahead and create the response standard wave object. I'm going to print both objects so you can compare the results. So here if we look at the MP3 file first. Hello everyone, my name is Jay, and here's recognizing the J as Jerry. And I teach Python and Excel on YouTube, and this should be N. First, if I'm uploading a WAV file, and because WAV files is able to store a lot more data, while getting a more accurate result. So here from the first line, my name is Jay. And the second line is I teach Python and Excel on YouTube. And this is the result I should expect. Now I've covered how to use the speech-to-text API. Now I want to show you the last example, which is how to transcribe a long media file. And it's going to be example 3, transcribing a long media file. And this will be example 1 and 2. To transcribe a long media file, we need to upload the file to Google Cloud Storage first. Now here, let me go into my Cloud Console, and I'll go into the dashboard first. And from the dashboard, we want to click on navigation menu. Then I want to go into Cloud Storage under the Storage section. And select Cloud Storage, Browser. And on my Cloud Storage, I already created a bucket, which is equivalent to a folder. I named the bucket speech-to-text media files. And let me go into the bucket. Inside the bucket, I have 2 media files. And let me transcribe the WAV file. So this file is 33.4 megabyte. And we know the media length is going to be 3 minutes and 18 seconds long. From the object details page, we want to grab the URI link, which is this link right here. And I'll create a variable called media underscore URI. And we'll assign the URI link to this variable. And from the speech client object, the recognition audio. Let me check something. Okay. We want to assign the media URI variable to the URI parameter. I'll name the output as long audio wave. Oh, this should be URI. And next, I want to configure the audio output. So from speech client, the recognition config. We need to specify the sample rate hertz. And it's going to be 48,000. I want to enable the punctuation. I want to set the language code to English. And for the audio model, let's use enhance. And it should be use enhance. I'll set that to 2. And for the audio model, let's use the video audio model. And I'll name the output as config with enhance. Now let me create these 3 objects. And here's saying the attribute's not fine. Let me type the resource name again. Recognition. Config. Let me try again. Oops. Oh, I know why. This should be speech, speech client. Because the resources is directly coming from the speech module. Right, so let's go back. And it should be speech as well. And you have a typo. Enable. Automatic. Punctuation. Using as okay. Now once we create the recognition audio object and the recognition config object, we need to process the media file first. So from speech client dot long running recognize. So basically we're just replacing the recognize method with long running recognize method. So I can simply copy paste the parameter statements. And I'll name the output as operation. Now here, let me go ahead and create the operation object. And here I'm getting an attribute. Oh, this should be recognized. Let me try again. Now this time I'm getting the non-string remove. Let's see. Here, let me go ahead and recreate everything from scratch. Okay, so this time everything worked. Now if I print the operation object, it will simply print the object ID. And here what I'm looking for is the transcribe result. And to retrieve the result, I want to reference the operation object, that result. Oh, I did this incorrectly. This should be results followed by timeout. This statement here is performing the transcribing task. So I'm going to name the output response. Now if I print the response object, and this is what the results looks like, and I see that this is incorrect. Let me take a look. Oh, and this should be long audio wave, not audio wave. Now let me rerun the operation. So we have a typo. This should be recognition audio. And let me rerun the process again. And here are the results. Now let's take a look. So here we have all the results for the media file. If I want to print just the transcript or the confidence value, what we need to do here is we need to iterate each result. So here I can say that for result in response dot results. Let me just do a double check. Okay, so if I print response dot results, it's going to return as a list. And if I simply just want to print the transcript, so I'll reference the transcript attribute. And if I want to print the confidence value, I'll type result.confidence. Let me try. I'm not so sure this is correct. And here I'm getting the attribute error. Let me take a look. I think the correct syntax should be results.alternative. Let me take a look. It should be alternatives. So this should be result.alternatives. That was an empty line. Now let me try again. New attribute transcribe. Oh, I see. Okay, so we need to reference the element location. And for the element location, it's always going to be 0. Right, so here we have the transcription, and as well as the confidence value in a separate line. Alright, so this is everything I want to share in this video, and hopefully you guys found this video useful. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.